name is Tanya Magoo. I am the Caregiver and Family Support Program Manager. With me is the Caregiver and Family Support Program Coordinators, Tabitha Lamb and Latrice Bernier, and one of our amazing unsung heroes, Allison Pate, Caregiver Mentor and Ambassador. I want to thank them for being with me today. We are so excited to be here with you, and we are excited to be in the year of 2021. And we hope all is well is with you and your families. So before I share our program mission and our vision statement, I would like for you to meditate on these few words. Now, if you're not a warrior, and if you're not a caregiver, these words are not for you. The journey of the warrior is the journey of the caregiver. Those are the words that I want you to meditate on. I will say that again. The journey of the warrior is the journey of the caregiver. Our mission is to deliver personalized support and services to our caregivers as an integral part of their warrior ill and injured recovery and rehabilitation plan. Our vision is to improve the caregiver and family quality of life by connecting them with resources, resiliency tools, and more experienced mentor caregivers. So we want to share a video with you. So Sean, please show the video. Thank you.
The journey of the warrior is the journey of the caregiver. Without the caregiver, there would be no warrior. Without the warrior, there would be no caregiver. Looking at what a caregiver have to deal with on a day-to-day basis and what the warriors have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, it affects both of them, the whole household. And so giving them an outlet to have a reason to believe is amazing. When others say that they can't, we say they will and they can. Caregivers are the heart of the warriors and their family members. And so the warriors, they depend on the caregivers for their support and for them to help them through their journey. Sometimes caregivers forget about themselves. And so our program helped them remember that you need to take care of yourself in order for you to be able to take care of anybody else. So we try to provide those services to help caregivers to learn different techniques and tools and skill set to help them move forward with their journey with their warriors. Caregivers, they look for, the resources to help them to stand strong, to help them to be able to say, I can and I will, and I will be here for my warrior, regardless of what it takes, regardless of what I have to go through. I want to be there for my warriors. And so we try to get those workshops and give them those different skill sets that they need in order to help them balance their life. We can't fix everything, we can't resolve everything, but at least they know that they are not alone and they do have an outlet with the Caregivers and Family Support Program.
Thank you. What an awesome video. So there is so much to our program. So we are going to zoom you through some of our resources. So what is a caregiver mentor? A caregiver mentor is someone that can improve another caregiver resiliency by connecting them with each other and sharing specialized experiences. They are able to build relationships, establish trust, and connect with each other. So what is a caregiver ambassador? A caregiver ambassador helps caregivers to develop strength, self-confidence, to share their testimony and to be able to share their stories because no one has walked in their shoes. So we have so many other resources, but you have to understand that a caregiver gives their warrior peace that no one in the world can ever give them. So we have more resources. So I'm gonna turn it over to Tabitha Lamb and Latrice Rainier for more caregiver support resources. So over to you all.
Thank you, Tanya. Hey, everybody, I'm Tabitha Lamb, one of the coordinators here at the program. The first step really in getting the resources to the caregiver to provide the ultimate amount of support we can is to get them enrolled in the program. So for some of our warriors who might be out there trying to figure out how to do this, it's pretty easy. It's a process that occurs between the warrior and their lead case manager, or the RCC, their non-medical case manager. And an assessment is done. The RCC, the non-med, may ask the warrior, hey, is there somebody in your life that helps you perform maybe like one or two things of activities of daily living that supports you? And if the answer is yes, then they discuss that individual, and then that person, the consent is given by the warrior, and then that person is given their name and information is given over to our program. And at that point, we reach out to that caregiver and we'll send them a welcome packet. And we follow up that welcome packet with a call. In that welcome packet is some really important links and resources straight out the chute. So some of my friends from our other programs, especially community programs, just mentioned the National Resource Directory. That's one we point our caregivers to straight away, the Caregiver Resource Directory, and also a link to our closed Facebook group. So after that, when we reach out to the caregiver, what we're doing at that point is trying to determine if there's any support gaps that they are experiencing with their support to the warrior. And if so, then we will kind of pull the thread on that a little bit and see if there's resources out there that might be available to that caregiver to help them fill those gaps in support. There's so many resources, it can be overwhelming, and there's some resources out there that caregivers aren't even aware. So that's our job as coordinators, to try to connect those dots between what they might need and what's out there and available to help them. And that's just our way of trying to find a path to take something off the caregiver's shoulder, because they've got a lot on them. So if the coordinator can find the dot connection, then we've done a great job. And so the next piece of this really is presenting those resources in terms of whether we can do that here at AFW too. So I've done a lot of referrals, and Latrice has too, just to our EIT folks, getting caregivers connected to people who can help build them resumes, find employment, talk about education opportunities. We have stuff for families. Latrice is going to go into a little bit more about that soon, but we have resources that just came across our desk that we've worked with school liaison officers and community programs to start to link up with an organization called Gratitude Initiative, where they provide like basically personalized one-on-one guidance counseling to students in grades 8 to 11 for military families. And that's a fantastic resource. So we're starting to connect those dots for people and give them some supportive resources. The next piece of what we do really is just to kind of follow up. It might be as simple as just saying, hey, how did that resource work out for you? And it might be, just checking in with the caregiver as the warrior has gone through another subset of the recovery coordination process. And that's a good opportunity for them to let us know if there's something else that they need or something else we need to work with them. All right, so that's it from my piece. I want to throw it over to my fellow and awesome coordinator, Latrice Rainier. Latrice, you got it?
Hi, I'm Latrice, the caregiver coordinator. You guys, I did something to my hair today, so I hope you feel as good as I do today. No, I have some great information for you. Not only does our program serve the warrior and their caregiver, but we have also been able to extend resources and support to parents, siblings, and even other family members. Those resources can range from counseling needs, education support, and much more. So we encourage your families to join some of our virtual programming. We've had comedians, artists, even mindfulness experts who come and engage with our younger audiences to provide and promote resilient skill building. It is also important for us to assist caregivers in connecting with fellow caregivers. This can be helpful to our new caregivers as they're navigating their journeys. So guess what? We have a new initiative. So after the enrollment process, one of our team members will now send an email with contact information of an experienced caregiver you can reach out to only if you should want to We also have our Facebook closed group, which allows caregivers to connect, as well as our virtual events. Last but not least, we have our virtual programming. Every Thursday of every month, we invite a subject matter expert, the topic varies, to speak in our town halls. And this allows for question and answers. We also have virtual care weeks that occur once per quarter. We have social hour where it's all about the caregiver. And that just allows them to come together, connect, and talk. We have special workshops and fun, i.e. May, the month of the military caregiver. Thank you all for all that you do. That concludes my overview. I'm going to pass it back to Tanya.
Yay, I love those resources. And you're right, we do have fun. So I thank you, Tabitha, and thank you, Latrice, for those amazing resources. So now we have one of our special unsung heroes. Our caregivers mean so much to us. So we are so excited to have Allison Pate with us. Allison, how are you today?
I am great.
Great. It is so good to see your face and to have you here with us today. So, Allison, could you share how has AFW2 and the Caregiver Program impacted your life and family life?
So I had married my warrior, Alex, right after I had graduated high school. We had already been together a couple years by then, and we just decided to get married. And about 2 weeks later, he was diagnosed with cancer. And I was 19. I did not have any idea what was ahead. And I was in school 7 hours away for my dental program. And just trying to navigate through, how am I going to finish school? How am I going to do chemo 5 days a week with him? The surgeries, everything was so overwhelming. And I just didn't, I lost myself in that time, just trying to be there and get stuff done, but trying to get everything done for him. And learning how to take care of a chemo patient at 19 really just, it baffled me. And I had to grow up really, really quick. And during that time, Alex had really shut down, and I wasn't a spouse anymore to him. I was just a caregiver, but I didn't see myself as that. I still saw I was just taking care of him. And there was a lot of just, he shut down from me, and it was just a roller coaster of bad. And a year or half a year of doing chemo, and he was sick, 80 pounds in half a year he lost, and was basically on his deathbed before he beat the cancer. And after he beat cancer, he was just like, I'm ready. I want to go. I want to deploy. Thought that because the cancer was gone, he could just go back to being how he was before. And I had to be the person to say, your body is just not what it was a year ago. We need to take time and figure all this out. And he really did not like that I was that person that had to be honest with him and trying to just build our relationship back up and be in a more positive mindset. And we just weren't able to do that. It was just spiraling still. And he still was just so shut off. And then his RCC had called and said, we have this program and we think it's really going to work for you. You're an athletic person. This is going to open you back up. And he went in completely shut off, still did not want anything to do with any of this. And after he came home from that first event, I don't know, I kind of like it. It was kind of fun. I'm still really shut off. Like, I would go again, but it's not my favorite. And he kept going, and he would come back so happy every time. And I started to see a little bit of Alex coming back, even though when he did come back, life was still hard, trying to figure out how to get through this in therapy and all the doctor's appointments and fertility stuff for us. And back to reality, he did not like it. He then wanted to go on all these trips because he could get away from reality for a little bit. And sat over here really bitter. Like, I moved 7 hours away for you. I nurse you back to health, and you go on these trips and I sit at home. I started to get mad and bitter, and he struggled a couple trips And that's when the caregiver side of it came up, like, well, hey, why don't you bring a caregiver and see if that kind of helps you on these trips? And I got to go, and I was so excited, like I finally get to be a part of something. And then they separate you the whole time. You don't get to spend time with your warrior, which is secretly really good, because you learn that you are a caregiver. You're not just a spouse. And you learn that all those things that you are doing for in sickness and in health, that doesn't mean just because you're a spouse, you have to do it. That means they need to be grateful, and you open up to, hey, I am doing this for you. And you just get to speak to them in a way that I'm giving you everything I have, and I need a little bit of recognition for that. And I think that they're taught that on the warrior side too, that we are giving everything we have. I don't have a life outside of my home. I still don't. I'm a stay-at-home mom with our babies now. And this program honestly saved our marriage, saved us, saved everything. He was on the verge of just at the end of his contract being sent home because he was non-deployable after that. In this program, I finally spoke up after about 3 trips. I spoke up and said, we need help. We are so close to just losing everything and being sent back home. And they made calls immediately before we had flown back home from that trip. We had answers, we had doors open for us. And he got to come home right before our daughter was born, and everything just seemed to work out perfect. And I honestly can't say that that's how it would have went if it wasn't for this program. There is so many things that this program has just opened doors for us. And I got that little piece of Alex back before he had cancer. I finally got to see him become that athletic, fun, easygoing guy again. And I'm just very, very thankful for this program and everything that it has given us.
Wow, that is awesome. What a promise of forever, Allison. All you caregivers, you all are so amazing in your journey. And we are so grateful to you and to your service member. That's just awesome. So, as a caregiver and ambassador, and as a caregiver mentor, what would you share with other caregivers to help them through their journey?
Honestly, becoming a mentor wasn't when I first started this program, it wasn't my goal. I had enough on my plate that I said, I don't want anymore. I've been a part of this program, I think 4 years now. And I am just starting to get to that process of I can take a little bit more on, because we have been through the roughest of the roughest, and we came out on the higher end of it because of this program. And now I can say that I learn a little bit more when I do mentor somebody, because I went in that nobody's been through as bad as what we have. We were so young and our lives were taken from us. And it was just, no, that's not how this program works. You learn that you're not comparing your stories. You're not comparing what you've been through. You literally hold their hand and say, we've all been through something. And that doesn't mean we judge each other. That doesn't mean anything different. We just lift each other up and support each other. So being at that low spot that we were in when we joined this program, I want to hold somebody's hand and say, we've all been in your shoes and we're all going to figure this out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your wonderful testimony and for sharing with our caregiver warriors and everyone out there. I am so excited and so honored to have you to be a part of our program. And I know all the other caregivers feel the same way too. So you see, everyone, the journey of the warrior is the journey of the caregiver. So without the warrior, there will not be a caregiver. And without the caregiver, there will not be a warrior. So who is an AFW2 caregiver? There are persons who provide support on a daily basis to a spouse, a mother, a father, a uncle, aunt, friend, anybody can be a caregiver. It could be any one of you on here. So warriors, if you uncertain about how to get your spouse or your caregiver enrolled in our program, just reach out to your RCC, your non-medical care manager, or to the caregiver support team. We definitely look forward to connecting and working with your caregivers and your spouses, because we have a lot of great resources and a lot of information that we can connect them to. So I thank you so much for joining us today. And I thank all the caregivers. We're most definitely celebrating you for the month of the military caregiver. You all are so amazing and keep being awesome. Don't give up because you do have an outlet. Thank you, the caregiver support team. Thank you, the staff, and thank you, leadership, for everything that you do to serve our warriors, caregivers, and family